Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, 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 welcome. This is exciting. You are all welcome to the Sustainability Festival Poetry Edition. If you've been attending any of our events, you would have noticed that there is a definite theme. And the theme is to immerse you as much as possible into the global discussion on the environment, our relationship with it, but most importantly, that there is now more than ever a sense of emergency. Now, when I was thinking about today's event and thinking about these amazing, talented performers that we have hand-selected to be here, John Donne's poem rang true, and although this poem was written to illustrate the interdependency between human to human, I think that it does actually say more about the interdependency, symbiotic relationship between humans and a non-human world. So this is John Donne's No Man is an Island. No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is less, as well as if a promontory were. As well as any manner of thy friends or of thine own were, any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind. And therefore, never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. As I said before, the bell is tolling now. It has been tolling for quite a long time. It's been telling us the earth is dying, our environment's dying, we are dying. But we are not listening, we haven't been listening. If it tolls for us. And the poets gathered here today are going to toll that bell louder for you. They are going to remonstrate. They are going to encourage, beg, scream, shout in all manner of artistic ways. But there is also a sense of hope. I've had a look at some of what the poets are going to share, and there is a sense of hope. Because if we think that we are dying, maybe we might do something. So you're welcome once again to this dynamic section of the festival. I'm going to call on our enigmatic MC, Ali Harwood, to join me in welcoming each and every one of the poets to the stage. Ali Harwood.
Thank you, Victoria. Thank you also to Chris, and thank you to Dave, and thank you to Edge Hill University for inviting us here. Thank you for calling me enigmatic. I'm not sure what that is. Also, if you are coming to the bar, okay, if you're getting drinks and something to eat, there is space, a little bit of space at the front, and there's also space at the back. You're all welcome. And I agree with Victoria that the bell is tolling, but it's also ringing as well. So also we need to celebrate what we are doing well and also how we can improve this wonderful planet that we're on. So, I think we've got the running order down there. Those people with really good eyesight at the back, you'll be able to see. And I'm going to share a couple of my poems to begin with before I will invite on Flloyd Kennedy with 2 L's. Okay, so this first poem is called Let's Play Ball, and it was written for, in fact, I performed it underneath Luke Jerram's Earth, which came to various places. It's going around the country. It's massive Earth. I think it was in Liverpool Cathedral. Some of you might have visited it, and it was an incredible artistic endeavour. Just reminded you about this planet, and we're all on the same sphere. And this is called, you might also recognise Sir David Attenborough on his RRS Sir David Attenborough here, which is off to the Arctic and the Antarctic doing very good things. Let's play ball. It's boss, this ball where we belong, our marble in the sky. Here we blend and make and mend. It's marvelous to fly. Let's rise through stratus, soar beyond, and see our world anew. Across, apace, let's swim the skies, now dive into the blue. We marine explorers breach and reach from sea to land, and leap the waves that break and lap, make castles out of sand. The sun, it beams upon the grains, all 7.5 quintillion. Yeah, that is a number. Yet stars outnumber sand by far. 70,000 million. I didn't believe that until I looked it up. From single-celled bacteria to fungi, plants, and creatures. As we turn, let's learn and act like we are lucky to be here. Through fire and ice, we warm and chill our seesaw civilizations. Let's listen to our pregnant hills. Göbekli Tepe beckons. Our boss is what we ride upon, we astronauts and farmers. Let's be brave adventurers and cultivate what charms us. Thank you. Thank you. Now, this one is written about Martha. Some people that I was hanging around with here know who Martha is. Martha is not a woman. Well, I'm sure she probably is, but not in this case. Okay, Martha is a bird, and she is now stuffed in the Smithsonian Museum. She died on, I think, September the 1st, 1914, the last passenger pigeon. There's a couple of passenger pigeons here, and there is Martha. There are no Marthas anymore. And this is my poem called Martha. We need to look after all of our different creatures and species. You were stars, you were grains of sand, you were insects, then birds. You were noises, you were symbols, you were letters, then words. You were books, you were libraries, you were cities, then states. Familiar, passenger, peculiar, then late. Swarms like dust, like smoke, like always, avarice inclined. Manifested, devastated, hourglassed, declined. Earth keeps turning, ground up your bones, mortared, pestled, spun. Millions, many, Martha, none. Thank you. And finally, a very short poem about the robin. Okay, robins are really feisty little birds. Okay, so this is about being positive and doing good things. Robins chirp most all year round, harvest what burns in their hearts. When cold kicks in, they stand their ground. Let's sing along and play our parts. Thank you. Okay, well, it's a real privilege to be here and to kind of compare. So thank you very much, Victoria, for that opportunity. You're really lucky to be listening to Flloyd with 2 L's next. Flloyd is an Australian-born actress, singer, songwriter, and performance poet based in Liverpool. She does so much more as well. as she shares her stories of life's journey with wry philosophical humour. Please welcome Flloyd! Keep it going, keep it going.
Thanks, Ali. And I'm short. There we go. I've got 2 poems for you today. The first one is as much an elegy for a sad loss, but also evidence of my very poor gardening skills. So there's a moral in the story. But I've been rewriting it, which is why I'm having to use my iPad. Doing my best here to read and perform at the same time. Oh my God, I'm multi-skilled. Here we go. It's called Ode to a Butternut Squash Plant. Oh, you lovely thing, you're savouring the last receding flecks of autumn sunshine, gently dancing, glancing on palest leaves. You cling with tendrils, bravely woven round the wrought iron railing that supports your great need, your yearning for fruition. Are you aware your days are numbered? Do you dread the impending chill? Do you feel the loss of those sweet babes you never bore? One bright summer, that was all the span of life that you were granted. One chance for you to shine and show your flowers galore, and bees came, busy, buzzing, quivering, taking something, leaving nothing useful in return, no gift to help you thrive. Did you chide them? Did you complain? For you were stunted and constrained in a small black pot, no kith or kin or kindly neighbourly roots to while your time away. Sweetly savouring sunshine and showers, imperceptibly expanding, curling, twisted roots confined in hard, plastic, unforgiving prison of false hopes. The weather turns, late autumn sunshine fades to palest cool in the face of windy storms. Your blossoms fall in a heap of lemon slips on the footpath. Dreams have turned to dusty deliberations, thoughts of lost desires in the time we each have left to dream. Thank you. This one started life as a poem. It started life as a rant. It's still a rant. It's called The Day Before, and I started writing it the day before the last US election results were to be announced, when we were all living in a state of dread. And there was a huge storm in Liverpool. But as I wrote it, and as time has passed, it's become about much, much more than just one scary election. And because it rhymes, I can't resist setting it to music, so I'm going to sing it for you. The sky is weeping, tears of rage are pouring down, drowning out the songs we sang before. The wind is sweeping, clutching leaves that will not fall, but hold on fast to make it last, to last the way it was before. The dark is creeping, slowly draining hope and patience, leaving no space for perseverance, values held before. The sun is peeping high above beyond the clouds, waiting for the earth to turn, to face the myth that was before. This time is reaping what we sowed, and now we know we owe it to ourselves to own what went before. The future's keeping all our dreams of better days to give us time to change our ways, time to leave what was before. The earth's housekeeping bill is due, payment in lieu will not restore what she's been through, all the damage done before. The day is sleeping, calmly breathing through the storm, waiting for whatever lies in store. Thank you.
Thank you, Flloyd. Fantastic. It's really nice to hear singing in here as well, so thank you. And you're right, we reap what we sow, so let's make sure that we sow quality seeds. Maybe that's what we're doing this morning and the whole of this week. Oh, by the way, this is a slightly higher microphone. That's a slightly lower microphone. Okay, we can always adjust them if necessary, so come up accordingly. David Emmanuel. Now, David Manny Mango is a shy, open, quiet, honest poet. This is true, all truth, who recently finished his book and is looking to publish, and he's a wonderful man. So please welcome David Emmanuel.
I'm short. I'm not going to just pretend to be tall. I am a short guy. Okay, so I was really, really happy to hear about this event, and I decided, I thought I'll give you like a taste of stuff I've written since I was really young. I wrote this when I was like about 15, 16 years old. Here we go. I didn't bring anything from primary schools because you'd like point and laugh, so I didn't want that. Okay. This is called Venus Flytrap. What is this thing digesting me? Does it know I'm still alive? What did I do trapped in this ghee? Is it an insect or a hive? I should have had some health insurance. I sigh and watch my health go south. My prison shuts with death's endurance. I can't tell my friends, it's no word of mouth. They'll come to this unholy draw. And I don't care that they can't see. The nectar's sweet. There is no flaw. While I eat it, it's eating me. Yeah. Okay, so I wrote this in secondary school, I think. Somewhere in secondary school. Yeah, I was a bit older. Nature versus man. Hey, old man, said the tree to the woodcutter. Why are you chopping me down? Don't you know that I have a plan? This the tree said, albeit with a stutter. Why are you chopping me down? Stop, good sir, please, while you still can. But she spoke tree, and he spoke man. Hey, old man, said the tree to her assailant. Can't you see that I'm pregnant? Stop, good sir, please, while you still can. This wild exhortation made by an indignant plant. Stop, good sir, please, while you still can. But she spoke tree, and he spoke man. Next one's called Liquid Chaos. I wrote this a few years ago. An animal I do not know has taken me into a mouth I cannot feel and is lifting me. In the middle of my vertigo, the sky is bright and blue, and birds fly in it as I navigate this living coffin. The sun bakes both our skins. As we both moan, I think, sometimes wisdom has so little to do with gentility and choice. Sometimes it crushes you, while you can't tell the pain from hope. It's not a creature of wild, sparkling ideals. Wisdom is just the ability to cope. Okay, I'm going to leave you with one more. I can't remember when I wrote this, to be honest. It's called Outstanding Natural Beauty. The sky will not let go her hug. Day turns from blue to creamy gray, contrasting the high, wild landscapes of barren grits and windy fells. Even the flowers seem to pray. Through peaty moorlands, mind escapes, listening to rills, lazy prattle, wrapped at the hue of the glowfire, of eyebright and lady's mantle. The greater butterfly orchid, of wild thyme and yellow rattle, so drunk on dreams you lie torpid as corkscrews trace their curly line. Juniper sings the blues to eyes, august plant species in decline. Clearly feel something inside you. Who will declare them yours and mine when they are nothing but fantasy? Lost in the folds of smoky time, gone the way of the unicorn.
Thank you, David. It's nice to hear that the things that you write, they're sustainable as well. So when you're younger and you write things, don't throw them away because they come back. And there's some really wise words there. I think most trees, we know, speak man, and maybe we need to make sure that we speak a bit more tree. Okay, Lyndon is up next. And Lyndon Shipp is a PhD student at the University of Liverpool. He enjoys communicating emotion by the medium of spoken word, and you're just about to experience. So please, welcome Lyndon.
All right, I want to call this one environmental health. Do I tell you what you want to hear or what I want to say? It's not exactly clear if it will work out either way. But I think that while I'm here, I should try and state my case. So would you let me bend your ear? Because there's quite a lot at stake. You see, the planet's biosphere is in a state of decay, and it's becoming more severe with every passing decade. It's starting to appear that we're the species that's to blame, and I'm beginning to fear there's not much more the Earth can take. So how about we make a resolution to aid this planet's improvement? Because if we don't take responsibility for our pollution, how can we expect to be a part of the solution? And we know there's going to have to be a green revolution, but it cannot be completed without your contribution. It might mean you need to do some soul searching, because under the surface you'll need to recognize that you're a person with purpose. Realign your mind to ecological service, because we know deep down inside the planet doesn't deserve this. And somewhere along the line, something important to learn is we need to make the most of what is natural, reduce what is mechanical, because deep down we're an animal and God knows that we're fallible. But our hourglass is no longer full. The gravity exerts a pull, the sand will fall, it seems inevitable. And it begins to seem as if our fate is inescapable. But I believe that God is capable of miracles, and he will use people to turn that hourglass around before the base gets full. So don't let your talents go to waste, learn to embrace them all. so that soon there'll be a day in which you may stand tall because you made the changes even though they're difficult. Because no one said it won't be hard. So you're going to need to reach deep into your heart to rediscover who you are, and I'll exhaust my repertoire because I need to do my part, and I will sport my battle scars because I've been fighting from the start. Because life on Earth is under attack, and I'm going to need your help to fight back.
Lyndon, thank you for standing tall, and it's a bit of a rallying cry for the rest of us as well. Okay, Idi. Idi Apkan is a young poet in sixth form and has performed her immersive poetry at several poetry events. She's got a great style. You'll hear it for yourself right now. Here comes Idi.
This one hasn't really got a title, but I'll just call it Four Seasons for now. The turning of the tides when the ice has melted, when the creatures open their eyes and the piercing cold has ended. If you look through your window, you just might be able to see the flowers that were once widows linking again and growing free. Trees regaining their pride like a sinner asking for forgiveness. Don't forget it's that time of year, no, not Christmas. To reflect on what we have and what we don't need, not just material things, but also internally. Skipping outside may be in season, but just know it might rain, so you need another reason. Though it's a fresh start and the winds aren't in your favor, just a reminder, have you checked the paper? Blazing heat and it's free is what the headlines say. 38.8 degrees, didn't I tell you the winds were going my way? These are the times you ought to hold dear. For better or worse, these were the chances of last year. Glistening faces lined a large litter box, leaving beige traces to see who can reach the rocks. While leaving caramel gloop, creamy white and candy pink, you ought to think that's some strange colour poof. These are the times you ought to hold dear, because the sun won't always seem so near. When you fall at twilight and rise up in a daze, when you're going to wish you'd have counted your days. Stolen like the crown jewels, lying in anguish, minds go back to when they were living life lavish, begging for the hand to charge forward just 1 second, to escape the band of night watchers that are legend. But they make sure you have more time to see why the leaves fall the way they do, escaping like they committed a crime, signifying something anew. Before they run, they give us a preview of their new colored wigs, red, orange, pink, a prequel. Brilliant time for nature, some would say. Don't go out and cause mischief, others would say. The Arctic chill that starts to progress, still the strange hearts the human possess, allows them to assemble and look to the sky just to watch the colors fly. Solitary is the mind of those who don't want to go out and see what she has to offer. Though it's no drought, some crops still suffer. Spectating from the clouds will only get you in the way of the glistening growing mounds opposite of what some had to say. Suppress the thoughts of your mind behind all that seems brash and murky. There is beauty at work that's definitely deemed worthy. Till they reach the ground, they entangle in a dance, greeting each other, leaving us in a trance. When they land, they cover the trees, taking them out of their bare state, and it's that time of year. Christmas, hooray. But when the festivities die down and we say goodbye to those with joy they bring, we ask ourselves, what becomes of ice once it's melted? Spring. Thank you.
Idi, that was great, and thank you for reminding us to watch the colours fly and also to point out that there is beauty at work. And when I came in, and first thing I think I said to Dave was, nice backdrop. And it is amazing to be here. And as Victoria said earlier, working in an environment like this, whatever the weather, it seems right when you're surrounded by nature. Okay, now, Olivia. Olivia is missing her maths lesson at the moment, but I think her maths lesson is missing her, and the maths lesson's loss is our gain, definitely. Olivia is great. She is a dynamic poet whose work has been performed in many poetry events around Merseyside. And she's just like a poetry machine is the wrong word. It's just, she's amazing. Anyway, please welcome Olivia Henry.
So my poems today focus on trying to fix our past mistakes in relation to saving the planet. So my first one is about waking up and making the change. Here we go. The chapter is closing. We know better now. A new sunrise means a new day. We are better in every way. Our past mistake has been learned. The angry letters we wrote are burned. We now consider nature as our friend, and this love and care will not end. The thoughts that race in our head at night are melting away. Now we're ready to face a new day. The guilt we thought would be evermore has disappeared. Now we know that there's nothing to fear. Look at yourself in the mirror, change what you'd like, actively making resolutions to prevent that feeling of spite. We know what we did wrong, now we sing a different song. So now that we are aware of the mistake, we can change. In future, we can say how we fixed it and now how it seems strange. For the moment, however, we must focus with clarity. Focus so much on sustainability. And my second poem is about considering the whole of this finite earth. And the title is just that, Finite Earth. I live on a finite earth. Earth needs to be protected. Protected shall be the forest. Forest, it's endless and wide. Wide African grassland. Grassland so vast. Vast desert that spreads for miles. Miles and miles of coastline. Coastline more blue than the deepest blue. Blue ice stretching all over the frozen north. Northern tundra, southern ice. Ice home to many animals. Animals live all over my finite earth. We live on a finite earth. Earth needs to be protected. Protected is the forest. Forest, it's endless and wide. Wide African grassland. Grassland, home to many animals. Animals live all over our finite earth. Thank you.
Wow. Do you know what? Whenever I hear Olivia and her poetry, it just, as an adult, it's easy to go, oh, I can't think of anything to write about. And then Olivia just gets up, writes a poem. And also, I think it sent chills down my spine, that first poem. And your second poem as well, I love the way that each line holds hands and connects with the previous one. It's really lovely. Thank you. We're going to go to Sonic Duo next. I think they may need a few minutes just to set up. So please hang around and just have a little discussion with each other. with what you've heard so far, and maybe a little round of applause for the people that we've had so far. So we've had Victoria, we've had Flloyd, David, Lyndon, Heidi, and Olivia, and in a couple of minutes we'll be back with the Sonic Duo. Thank you. So, Sonic Duo. Friends, Lucy and Carolyn, they love sharing their mix of lyrical poetry and percussion to both surprise and soothe their audience. You're in for a bit of surprise and a bit of soothing, but not necessarily in that order. Okay, please, round of applause for the Sonic Duo.
All right, this is, we've been a bit blown away by performances so far. It's just been fantastic. So just want to say thank you so much to Victoria for enabling the event, and to Edge Hill as well. Thank you so much. Just, I know it's been said before, but really wonderful environment. So yes, I'm Lucy. I am the voice in our duo, and this is Carolyn on djembe. And we've got 5 pieces for you today, all on the theme of nature. That includes a couple of haiku, so very short poems. We'll start with one of those, and this was written during lockdown at a time when I think many of us were probably noticing the resurgence of nature. This is about 2 little birds courting in spring. Twin tits dance, sprightly, zesty, along my fence top, nuptial wee wings blur. Thank you. This next one is a metaphorical love poem where the narrator is actually a flowering plant. And it brings to mind the growing awareness that we now have, that, of course, David touched on in one of his poems, about the potential sentience or feeling nature of plants and trees. This is called Growing. I emerged from the earth, soft soil, dreams, pushing out through granular reams of nutrients, oxygen, faith. My arms unfurled, nascent, green. My petaled head bent low to lean before you watered me. Then I knew I was the plant that grew by the light of your love. Roots ramified, secure now, firm. To render, surrender my face to your sunbeams. Thank you. Now, our second haiku, also written during lockdown, was inspired by the sort of kind of renewed sense of gratitude, I think, that many of us had for nature and other things as well. This tells of a breeding pair of puffins who've been separated for over a year at sea, and the male comes back to the nesting burrow to reunite with his mate at last, with a gift of fish. This is called Puffin Thanks. Beaks touch after months, gifting sardines, love to love, sealing auklet bonds. Thank you. Now, our next piece is about our closest animal cousins, the bonobo chimpanzee. And this poem it brings to mind other ways of existing, being, examples that we can take from nature. Bonobos live, as you may know, in a very placid and affectionate society. This is called We Are the Bonobos. We are the bonobos, jungle poets we. A touch here, a kiss there, loving, bonding pleas. To not give way to anger, to gently show concern, to hold and reassure ourselves, and sometimes to take a turn towards a coupling of kindness, soothing the deepest way, face to face like humans, keeping angst and sorrow at bay. We are the bonobos, jungle poets we, in a tender Eden colony, caressingly to pacify and calmly, serenely be. Thank you. And for our final piece, we're going to tell you the story of the Olympian creation myth. So this is how the heavens and the earth were created according to Greek mythology. It's called My Name is Gaia, and of course, the environmentalist James Lovelock took the name Gaia for his hypothesis of ecological balance on Earth. My name is Gaia. My name is Gaia. I am Mother Earth. But where did I come from? And to whom and to what did I give birth? Chaos was my parent, neither male nor female, a void, existing from the beginning, a universe that was, always, and will never be destroyed. As I slumbered soundly, heaven emerged from me, my husband and my equal. Together we made each beast, bird, flower, and tree. Gazing upon me fondly, enveloping me with love, he sent his fertile rains to reach my secret places from above. This made the rivers run and flow, and formed the ocean too. Before I bore a dozen babes, the race of titans, but many more would you. In the meantime, my divine siblings, darkness and the night, had married and created day, and her breathy, pure brother, light. My next children were semi-human, the 100-handed ones, 3 terrible giants with 50 heads each, the most fantastically strong of my sons. Then came the mighty wild Cyclops, each with a single middle eye, a trio of master craftsmen. They built labyrinths and walls so high. But then my husband made me angry when he hid our rebellious sons way deep down in the underworld, away from light, where the river Styx runs. Cronus came to the rescue, my youngest titanic boy. He stabbed our sky to seek revenge with a stone sickle, not a toy. Heaven's blood spilled upon me, and with child I was once more, giving life to new giants, furies and nymphs, caring for the nature we adore. And since millennia have passed, with turbulence and some shame, but constant renewal has been my theme, as many have been to blame. I am the earth personified, the goddess of the living and the still. Let us respect their synergy, a complex heart to fill. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's great. Yeah, round of applause for Sonic Duo. They have both surprised and soothed us. Obviously, if you're trying to impress a loved one next Valentine's Day or earlier, if they're a puffin, get them sardines. It's a winner. Okay. Well, our next performer is. I think he's got lots of props and things. I don't know. It's amazing. Al Peters is a musician, poetical activist, and artist who enjoys performance poetry, and he will play some blues harmonica, I think, to set the scene. Is that right? Or he will do whatever. He's going to surprise. I'm not sure if he'll soothe you, but he'll certainly surprise you. Welcome Al, please.
That was beautifully synchronized. Now you're going to go into more what I call free fall. Right, it's a very special week this week, as we know. And I will be attending the demonstration at Sefton Park Gates on this Friday, the 6th of November at 12 noon, just to try and emphasize how important that the climate is to us, the human race. And I must apologize for a lot of my generation who have not been really fair for those who are following on. They've been totally taken over by greed and not to the benefit for everyone else. And what I would like to say also is that the government rules by division. But my heart and soul is with the younger people who are going to inherit what we have done to the planet so far. So this poem is called No Planet B. So just a while. Just to break from that beautiful rendition of Sonic Duo and to go into set a mood for you, I will play some blues harmonica. That is the horn of the thought police. They are watching all you poets. Especially the young people who will rise and bring good, positive sustainability to this wonderful planet. This is called No Planet B. Much to the blatant egotistical rhetoric of the billionaires' race to live in space, there is no option, no alternative to our beautiful home, planet Earth. Their capitalistic exploitation of our planet must be brought into perspective. In the vastness of the universe, the Earth is but a tiny, lonely speck of dust in the great enveloping cosmic wilderness. Thus the scientists, with the help of satellite images, clearly state that there is no evidence to show that help to save the destruction of our planet will come from elsewhere. We have to save the planet Earth from ourselves, especially those who live by greed. The mindless capitalist billionaire bluster of men with huge wallets and egos like Branson, Bezos, and Musk. Where enough is not enough, they use their wealth to help destroy our natural resources, while millions of poor people starve to death. Because they want to be the first in space to commercially exploit our heavenly outer space, without a single care for the rest of the human race. We need men and women of great vision and understanding who are not afraid to confront the truth. As T.S. Eliot said, humankind cannot bear too much reality. Only by accepting the truth we can start to confront global warming. There is only one planet Earth to sustain our very existence. There is no planet B. Absolutely no planet B. So please don't give up the fight. It's up to us to stay united to help sustain life on this beautiful planet Earth. And what I would like to say, because I'm say no more, that when a 16-year-old girl can stand in front of the UN congregation and sum up our government's response to climate change in 3 syllables so succinctly was blah, blah, blah. Thank you, Greta Thunberg. Thank you. And thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me here. And thank you all. Don't forget now, 12 noon, Southampton Park Gates, COP26 protest. Power to the people.
Thank you very much, Al. You didn't free fall, you soared. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, your horn of the thought police was a nice horn, actually. I think, yeah, thanks for that. Great. Now, Seema Datta. Here comes Seema. Seema is an actor and reciter. Her forceful readings are directed at empowering women. And here she is. Please welcome Seema.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure and honor for me to participate in this festival of sustainability. I would like to thank Victoria for giving me the opportunity to come here and perform today. Now I shall recite 2 short poems in Bengali written by the Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. Tagore wrote the book of poems called Chaitali in the year 1896. The name Chaitali comes from the Bengali month of Chaitra, and that is the end of spring and beginning of summer in Bengal. He wrote most of the poems in that month, and the poems have one common theme of ordinary people in rural Bengal living in close proximity with nature and sharing their emotions of daily life with the surroundings. I'm going to recite in Bengali, and Victoria will read English versions, and both poems are translated by K.K. Dyson. The first poem is called Big Sister. নদী তীরে মাটি কাটে সাজাইতে পাঁজা পশ্চিমী মজুর তাহাদেরই ছোট মেয়ে ঘাটে করে আনাগোনা কত ঘষা মাজা ঘটি বাটি থালা লয়ে আসে ধেয়ে ধেয়ে দিবসে শতিকবার পিত্তল কঙ্কন পিতলের থালি পরে বাজে ঠন ঠন বড় ব্যস্ত সারাদিন তারই ছোট ভাই ন্যাড়া মাথা কাদা মাখা গায়ে বস্ত্র নাই পোষা প্রাণীটির মতো পিছে পিছে এসে বসে থাকে উচ্চ পারে দিদির আদেশ শিরোধৈর্য ভরে ভরা ঘট লয়ে মাথে বাম কক্ষে থালি লয়ে যায় বালা ডান হাতে ধরি শিশুকর জননীর প্রতিনিধি কর্মভারে অবনত অতি ছোট দিদি
Big sister. They dig by the river for bricklaying, laborers from the West Country. That little girl keeps scampering to the gate, such scrubbing and scouring of pots and pans and dishes. Comes running 100 times a day, brass bangles jangling, clang, clang against the brass plates she cleans. So busy all day, her little brother, bald, mud-daubed, not a stitch on his limbs, follows her like a pet, patiently sits on the high bank as big sister commands. Plates against her left side, a full pitcher on her head. The girl goes back, the child's hand in her right hand, a surrogate of her mother, bent under her workload. Such a wee big sister.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria. My second poem is The Mediatrix. First in Bengali version, and then I will be reciting the English one. পরিচয় একদিন দেখিলাম উলঙ্গ সে ছেলে ধুলি পরে বসে আছে পাদুখানি মেলে খাটে বসি মাটি ঠেলা লইয়া কুড়ায়ে দিদি মাজিতেছে ঘটি ঘুরায়ে ঘুরায়ে অদূরে কোমল লোম ছাগ বৎস ধীরে চড়িয়া ফিরিতেছিল সেই নদী তীরে সহসা সে কাছে আসি থাকিয়া থাকিয়া বালকের মুখ চেয়ে উঠিল ডাকিয়া বালক চমকি কাঁপি কেঁদে ওঠে ত্রাসে দিদি ঘাটে ঘটি ফেলি ছুটে চলে আসে এক কক্ষে ভাই লয়ে অন্য কক্ষে ছাগ দুজনেরে বাটি দিল সমান সোহাগ পশু শিশু নর শিশু দিদি মাঝে পড়ে দুহারে বাঁধিয়া দিল পরিচয় ডোরে Now the English version. And one day I saw the same naked boy sitting on the ground, legs stretched on the dust. Big sister at the cart sat scrubbing a pot with clay, turning and turning it. A soft-haired kid was grazing nearby, gently nibbling the grass of the riverbank. Suddenly the kid drew near and looking at the lad's face, gave a few bleats. Startled, the boy trembled and burst into tears. Big sister left her pot, came running down. Her brother on one side, the goat on the other. She consoled both, giving them equal attention. Sister to both children, animal and human. Mediatrix, she knit them in mutual knowledge. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
So, I chose to introduce Phil because Phil's medium is a particularly close one to my heart. Phil is a drummer, an informal educator, a historian and lover of music. Phil's poetry is using drums, and for those of you who are familiar with the African tradition of drum language, you'll know that it traditionally used for storytelling, for poetry, of course, for instructions and messages, etc., but most importantly for storytelling and poetry. If you've ever had which you will have with Phil's performance here, you get a little snippet of that beautiful form of poetry using drums. So everyone, welcome Phil Windever.
Thank you. Just take me 1 minute to set up. So. Yeah, so my name is Phil Windever, and I've been a community worker since I left school. I've travelled to Africa quite a lot. 11 times I've been to Africa, and I fell in love with these drums. They're called djembes. They're from West Africa. They're part of the Malinki group. So yeah, I thought I'd come and do a small performance today, thanks to Vicky and the professor over here who kindly escorted me to the Arts Centre this morning, Professor Dent. So thanks for inviting us along. It's a really important week, I know, for everybody. I suppose for me, I was trying to fit in, what could I talk about? I could talk about sustainability of wood, or the coming together of people and the unification of ideas and cultures to bring about the change that we need to go forward. So I suppose for me, a quick kind of bit of meaningful dialogue from me is important, and not just the drum. I know Victoria said it'll be good, it'll create a difference to the poetry. So to start with, the Malinki people of West Africa, like many peoples in Africa and around the world, they believe that words and sounds are very important, and the impact on the body and the message that goes across is really important, and it's something that we should respect. And part of that word and sound, they believe, in some ways can be part of the spirit world, so messages can come to us from the spirit world, but also, more importantly, it's about grounding us today in reality and talking about important messages. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and if I have 5 minutes, this is going to take me 2 or 3, so I won't be playing for so long, is I was thinking of this idea of the drums really, traditionally, were accompanying everyday life, but also throughout the year they'll accompany important visitors and important guides and important people like Professor Dent here, people who can come along with a lot of information and give cultures and communities new ideas and an opportunity to reflect on the last year and see where we're going to the next year. So if sustainability is an African mask, what would it look like? And how can we present this to the world? A mask that when you look at it, it's almost equivalent to the Bible or the Quran. It gets brought out, and from that, it inspires you, it tells you deep stories, it tells you the importance of uniting with each other and forgetting about kind of wars from the past and learning from each other and giving new kind of targets for the village to move forward. So this is my thing. If sustainability was a mask, what would it look like? So that's my view on it. So yeah, I'm going to play a rhythm. It's called Sosone. It's a protection rhythm. I'd like to know if you want me to play one drum or two, or the left or the right. So we'll give you... So do we want two? Do we want one? Do we want the white? Do we want the right, the left? Two? Jamane. Jamane, Jambe Jamane. Jamane, Jambi Jamane, aye. Jamane, Jambi Jamane. Jambane, Jambi Jamane, aya. Thank you.
I think we've gone somewhere really special, gone on a journey. Phil, thank you. And thank you, Seema, before as well. Phil, I think you certainly grounded us then and linked the head and the heart together and kind of linked the eternal now as one, past, present, future. And Seema, like the reference to Tagore as well, is wonderful. His poetry is incredible, as is his art. And I think the actual title, The Universal is Personal, comes from a title by William Radici, who is one of the translators of Tagore's work. So there's... Yeah, so it's amazing throughout this morning that kind of something that comes to mind is what unites us is far more than what divides us. And events like this are a stimulus to that. Okay. Margie Ryan is here. She is a poetic force on Merseyside and has been for many years. Here's Margie.
Hi everyone. I wrote this called The Green Man in June 2010. We did some work at Liverpool museums with the children and got them interested in nature and what we can do to preserve the land. When I was young, I never knew what the effects of global warming could do. Now I'm older and more environmentally aware. The forest, flowers, animals, and this earth do I care. The Green Man wants us to look after our land. We can all do this and lend a hand. Grow flowers, herbs, and little bees. We need little trees. We need to attract butterflies and bees. Some are dying and are becoming rare. Red admirals and honeybees, we need you there. In our meadows and pretty village greens, you are as important as golden sunbeams. The Green Man wants the forest to grow and to thrive. He wants us to look after every beehive. Nature is important, earth, sea, sky. If we upset the balance, the Green Man may cry. We don't want floods, drought, too much sun or snow, just enough sun, wind, rain to help the seeds grow. We don't want autumn and winter all year round. We need spring and summer too to create fertile ground. Ladybirds, insects, and colourful butterflies, wasps, honeybees, birds in the skies. The Green Man wants us to celebrate that you are here. When he is around, have no fear. He will try his best to keep you, save you from harm, and we must do so too. Please take care of this land we have got. Respect all living things and nature a lot. Thank you. This is one I wrote called Home Alone, and it was about the pandemic and how nature keeps on going when everybody was in lockdown. I am home alone. When will this pandemic end? Stay indoors, stay safe, no more hugs, self-isolate. I am on the terrace, the river is calming me. I notice the swans silently sailing on by. Pink, pretty roses in terracotta pots shine. Orange flowers, chives, purple pansies catch my eye. Glorious summer in England in May. Nature is healing. The earth breathes. The sky is clear. Listen to the breeze whispering to me. The sun's rays glitter like gold. Springtime is calling. Mother Earth embraces us. Quarantine, she smiles. Ladybirds, bees, butterflies, they need me right now. Sprinkle magic to our days. Without me, they die. My busiest time of year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Margie. And I think you kind of pointed out the symbiotic relationship between humans and what is not human, and where you say that purple pansies catch my eye. A couple of days ago, I was travelling home from work, and I had a call from an ancient tree, the Allerton Oak in Calderstones. If you've ever been there, it's a tree that's meant to be over 1,000 years old. You can still go and visit it. So I took this oak, which has been, or this leaf, sorry, that's been around for 1,000 years in terms of where it's come from. It just puts things into perspective a little bit. I'm not sure if I spoke tree then, but I was trying to listen to it. Before we move on to our final performer, Andy, I'd just like to say really thank you so much to Victoria for bringing us diverse people together, both the performers and the audience. So I think you should... Yeah, you're coming on after Andy, yeah. So in a minute I'll introduce Andy and then Victoria will come on after that. Yeah. And so in so doing, just to say that Victoria is a poet in the first instance and a teacher, writer and researcher. She is also, and even though this might be in the second instance, it's like first equal instance, a PGR GTA at Edge Hill. So thank you for bringing us in to this community. Okay. And Andy Kenwright, he's a high-energy performance poet and author. Yes, he is. His evocative brand of poetry will give you food for thought. Here comes Andy.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so thank you, Victoria, and I'm definitely Andy, and that's Victoria for sure. Thanks, Victoria, and thanks to Edge Hill for making this happen in this really important time, you know, in this beautiful and very appropriate setting, as we've said. So this is He of Many Names. Each blade of grass, each breath of wind, each twig of tree am I, each stone or block that's hewn from rock, the making of my bones. You'll see my face in many a place, river, brook, or sky. You'll see my seats, you'll see my streets, my roads, my thorny thrones. My tears the rain, the sky's my brain, my blood runs as a river. My wrath the thunder, the hills my plunder, everywhere am I. I've icy breath, I fear no death, my song can make you shiver. I've never aged, though wars I've waged, forever will I fly. The seasons change, yet I remain, although in different form. The world does turn while forests burn, you'll see me in the flames. So hear me shout and never doubt to see me in a storm. Through sleet or snow, through ebb and flow, I'm he of many names. As Margie said, the Green Man, or Mother Nature, that's about whatever you want to call it. You know, it transcends gender, colour, creed. It's all of us, you know, and we all need to protect it. to protect each other and to protect ourselves, to sustain. Now, it's obvious to me that we have to make a change. The planet that we live on cannot take this strain forever. We have to change our ways and we have to rearrange. And it can't just be a few of us, we all must pull together. I see the forests burning and I see the ice caps melting, the natural world crushed beneath the wheel of industry. Mother Earth is crying as the factories are smelting. There's going to be a breaking point of this, we all must see. If we carry on this way, there will be consequences. Future generations left with nothing but dismay. I think it is about time that we all came to our senses. Now's the time to turn things round. It has to be today. I do hold hope that all's not lost. I think we still have time. Time to right the wrongs that we so recklessly committed. Admittedly, it seems there is a mountain now to climb. So with the harnesses of change, we all must now get outfitted. It's comforting to see so many people waking up. So many of us seeing from excess we must refrain. It is a poisoned chalice if we always drain the cup. If we leave some in for others, then we all might just sustain. So yeah, we all need to make a change. We all need, the conglomerates, the corporations at the top, of course, it's them who need to sort it, but we've all got to look at ourselves as well introspectively and think, what can we do, ourselves? So we have to have a little think internally about that. So I wrote the sustainability soliloquy to ponder that. And here it is, I cannot find happiness, peace of mind. My inner thoughts are grim, misshaped, because this planet's getting raped. I can hear the earth crying out in pain. My skin's burning due to hot hail and acid rain. My heart fills up with dour dismay when I hear what twats like Donald Trump say. He's trying to tell me that climate change isn't real. It was 30 degrees by ours the other day, my skin did peel. We're going to have to sort this out, we'll have to make it nifty. Never mind 30 by ours in Canada, it was over 50. Now, we're burning fossil fuels, we're dredging the ocean. It's just take, it's causing big commotion. How can we all keep taking more than there is to give? This beautiful planet's turning into a crack den in which we've all got to live. We'll have to sort this out, we'll have to make it soon. I'm not a billionaire, so we can't move to the moon. We have to save the planet now for future generations, but it's got to start with me. I must lay down the foundations. So this is my sustainability soliloquy, an introspective look into the way it makes me feel to be a person on this planet who professes introspection, yet doesn't do enough to take us in the right direction. And yeah, people might take a look at me and say, yeah, I see him driving around in a diesel car. And yeah, you'd be right. But you know what I've decided? The next motor that I buy, it's going to be a hybrid.
Whoa. If I could whistle, I would whistle. I can't whistle to save my life. That was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. How do we feel? How are we feeling? Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm pumped. I thought I would be tired by now, but I'm not. I'm ready to, get on with my day. I just want to say thank you to all the poets that made it today. To Margaret, to Seema, to Olivia, to Lyndon, to Al, to Flloyd, to David, to Andy, to Heidi, to Ali. Thank you very much for supporting me today, and to Lucy and Carolyn. Hope I haven't missed anyone out. So I'm going to end this amazing section of the festival with a poem that I wrote in response to the campaign for the protection of rural England's campaign. And the campaign is titled, We Are the Countryside. And when they sent through the brief, I thought, of course we are. It's all about this relationship we have, that the countryside is not there for us to go to or to live in or to farm in, that we are it. In every little way and big ways. So we are the countryside. We are this earth, all fields and moors, mounds, hills, mountains, all rocks and cracks, jagged cliffs, sand and grit. The sky and space, waters big and small, trickles to waterfalls, babbling brooks, gurgling streams, angry rivers, and endless seas. We are caretakers, custodians of paths laid by history, kept in protest and work, farmers, walkers, foes, a toll-free access for all and all. We are witnesses of the daily dance of the English climate, daffodils early and late, bluebells that dazzle the sight, trees in slow motion, dressing, undressing, a landscape quickly changed in snow, storm, sun, or inevitable rain. We are meeters and greeters. That first brush with the open air, a nod, a smile, a welcome wave, the understanding of togetherness in this. We are the countryside. We are the land, wrapped in the promise of his care, freed by his generosity, given control in trust, to roam, to tend, to be. We are the countryside. You, me, and that fellow that scoffs at the rain. For what is a meal if not the child of the soil? What is your soul if not a star in the sky? We are the countryside. You, me, and every fellow here. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for coming to the festival. Enjoy. There are lots and lots of activities out there. The festival doesn't end until Friday. Go to one of them. It's open to the public, and have a great time. Thank you.